Okay, man, we all need to fold here. Let's just admit I'm the GOAT. If you don't want to admit it, that's fine. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough. Let's load up one of my saves. This should be the opening. I'm just going to showcase just new things I've applied to it. I'm not going to make you suffer through the entire opening or anything further in. Just I'm going to show just enough to showcase what I'm saying. So, you'll immediately notice I found a texture pack, found a really good texture pack that keeps faithful to vanilla, but it complex parallaxes all the textures, and it upscales all of the meshes. Love it. Aside from that, I have my own personal skeletons, meshes, textures, and armor slash clothing for every race. So everyone just looks different. You can see the wild differences between the heights and the sizes of each of the characters. A good indication is probably up in front of us. It's I think her name is Reek, Rikke. It's the little female commander there. Look at her next to a male. The males are huge. So I got these textures. These are the most realistic textures I could find. Of course, they're personally modified to be consistent with vanilla because the original release, I love the original release now, but the original release was slightly off. Excuse me. There's other tweaks that I have to go back and make here admittedly that I'll do later because they're so minute. But as you can see, for the most part, I have the end result that I wanted, which is just hyper realistic skin textures. The ESP that I created it by hand, is a combination of everybody's different bodies by race, unique just take my word on it. I've perfectly separated every race, and I've done it in a consistent and safely done way. So my folders are very clean. They're set up in a proper way to so there's not much work for me to jump from folder to folder. For example, in the original mod that I downloaded, which was like UBBR, which is it's like in everybody's different, but it only refers to basically meshes for the body and armors. I can't remember if skeletons are included. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure extreme body morphs or racial body morphs is the name of the skeleton morpher. But long story short, I basically set it up so that the Nords, for instance, don't have a female and a male Nord folder. They only have a folder called Nord, and I drop everything that pertains to them in that said folder. That's just one example of how I've organized everything. All of my races have been tested. I test everything one by one. They've been ran through. As you can see here, for just a simple showcase of how I perfectly tweaked a race. This is the Argonians. The default Argonians in the original game, they had spikes on their jaw lines. I took the spikes off. It just looks cooler this way. Plus, it mimics ESO. It modernizes the race pretty much. The rest of the races, they're pretty self-explanatory. They're pretty much the same, if you ask me. The only difference being the hyper realistic textures that I've managed to plop on top of them. These textures are so insane, like words couldn't explain or describe how crazy they are. Um, no point in really going through all of them. They're pretty much they're very similar in design with only small or minute changes to them. I think the most outstanding outstanding change race wise that you'll immediately notice is probably the red guards. Red guards have a completely different custom skin. It looks amazing. Like they just look like black people. Yeah, if I were to just summarize it, these just look like African Americans or just Africans. And it's a beautiful skin mod. So I'll just move forward. I'll pick her. I'm not scared. But that's what I want to show. It looks so real. Aside from the skins, the meshes, the skeletons, the armors, the clothing, the new textures, the new meshes for the environments. This looks just insane altogether. Look how cleanly it merges too. I also put SMP capes, cloaks, scarves, on accessories on all of the characters. You'll notice immediately the hairs too. I replaced the default or vanilla hairs with SMP counterparts. Not just counterparts, but the exact clones of the default vanilla game hairs have been put on all of the characters. that are S&P. As you can see there, this skyrockets the graphics. This basically modernizes the game with one simple snap. With these textures in combination with these meshes, these height mods, look how drastically different they look. There's a plethora of other things that I've merged in here, but for the most part, this is what I've always wanted. It's pretty much, it feels like I'm playing vanilla Skyrim still. There's no crazy Sims 4 or Sims 3 hairstyles integrated in the game. There's nothing too wild or outstanding. This addition of parallaxing just pretty much modernizes the crap out of everything. The new accessories adds the bells and whistles to all of these characters. Just this is insane. Like I couldn't ask for more. I don't even have to touch this any further. The only thing I will be adding to this in the future, by the way, I have a little bit more than 1,100 mods. But if I were to add anything in the future, past this point, it'd just be bug fixes. Just anything I can find that adds patches, bug fixes, little minute things that I haven't thought of. I'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, this is my final build. 3D volumetric clouds in the sky. No more scaling JPEG for the sky. Realistic birds. There's actual physical birds in the sky everywhere. Just there's just so much going on here. I'm the GOAT. I know I'm the master. If you don't agree, you don't have to. Alright, God bless.